You start to develop momentum that never would have happened. Ultimately, this is where you develop character, when you do it, when you don't want to do it. Along the way, I made other commitments, and this is where the ripple effect really comes in. About 5 or 6 days in, I made a commitment to call a minimum of 30 prospects every day. Minimum. That was my minimum standard. If you're going from 3 to 5 calls to 30 calls, you think something might shift? And so I would do it anyway. I get the days where it would be about 4:50 in the afternoon and I'd have about 8 more calls a day. I'm just going to give you the down and dirty here. I would go into my database. I would find 8 people that I was pretty sure and pretty hopeful would not answer the phone that day. And these would be the people I would call. Now, what do you think happened inevitably on days like this? Somebody would answer the phone. Maria, I was hoping to leave you a message. Things happen, then by the way, things happen that simply never would have happened. Do you know it's possible to book a meeting that can change the course of your life when you have a bad attitude and your life sucks? Did you know that? It has nothing to do with attitude. It has nothing to do with inspiration. Inspiration is overrated. And I think people have this delusion in their mind that success and achievement and discipline is going to be like a Rocky movie. And you're going to have cheerleaders in the background and music playing and everything is this inspired moment. Don't wait on inspiration. Get yourself moving. Do it anyway, and your inspiration eventually will come. This is a friend of mine, Scott Rigsby, and you may notice he's missing something from the knees down. He wrote a book called Unthinkable, and this man actually was the first man ever to run an Ironman triathlon with no legs from the knees down. He's a very real and very powerful reminder to me that I have no excuses. And neither do you. Level 2 integrity is do it anyway. Level 3 is what I call lifestyle integrity. Lifestyle integrity, I sometimes call this green eggs and ham integrity. Any of you ever heard of this book, Green Eggs and Ham? This is a great self-help classical book. I will not eat them in a box. I will not eat them with a fox. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them. Sam, what does he find out of it? Oh, it's like page 56 at the very end of the book. What does he find out? He actually likes them. Are you kidding? So this happened for me when I would go to the gym or go to the workout, and I'd say to myself, you know what, that wasn't too bad. I kind of liked that today. I might have actually enjoyed that. Don't tell anybody, I'm not sure, but that might have actually been somewhat. Have any of you ever had this experience? Maybe it's in sports. Maybe you're a runner. There's a thing called runner's high. Anybody ever heard of this? What's your name, sir? Tracy? Tell me what that's like, Tracy, to have runner's high.
It's a great feeling to get the emotional high from achieving.
Yeah, I've been running over 30 years. I've never experienced this thing called runner's high. But I've heard it's really cool. And it's a time, I've been telling people, they just say it's a present to just almost a state of euphoria and a state of flow. And we've all had this experience in some area of our lives. And what's that? Well, you know, drugs simply manipulate the brain in such a way that we're present to more ecstasy and joy. And I believe it's up to us to find ways to shift our choices without drugs so that we're more present to a state of joy and love and peace and all the gifts that are readily available to us if we just get stuff out of the way. And that's what happened here. When I just kept doing it anyway and doing it anyway, when I didn't want to do it, eventually I just started to enjoy it. And so will you. The pathway to level 3 is doing it anyway. And just paying attention to the impact of your choices. Level 4 integrity is what I call throw your hat in the ring. And this is actually an expression from the early 19th century. Do any of you know, a couple of you read my book in here, any of you know where this expression, throw your hat in the ring, where this came from? How about I just tell you? Throw your hat in the ring actually came from boxing. When a man wanted to challenge a boxer in the ring, he would take his hat off and throw it into the ring. And when that hat hit the ring, it's going down. Now, if you've ever taken on another person in hand-to-hand combat, sanctioned or otherwise, or perhaps a sporting event, and you know that deadline is approaching, Does that change the way you feel? If you know within about 10 days you're going to step in the ring with somebody else, will that change the way you feel right now? Who in here has ever been in a physical altercation with another person? What's your name, sir? Tony. Let's say, Tony, we throw a deadline out there. In 12 days, you're going to take on Lewis in a physical altercation of some sort. And we throw down the gauntlet, we throw your hat in the ring, and we do it today. Does this change your thinking process right now?
Absolutely.
What happens?
You start to fear, and fear kicks in, and you start to wonder what you have to do to get to that moment.
Yeah, you start preparing right now for what will happen in 12 days. Are you with me on this? The mindset changes, the emotion changes, maybe your physiology starts to change, Lewis. I mean, things will shift right now by making an external, time-bounded commitment of what you intend to take on or accomplish. So if you want to write down the definition, if you will, of throw your hat in the ring, it's this. It's making an external, time-bounded commitment of what you intend to take on or accomplish. This happened for me when I registered for my first Tough Mudder. Have any of you ever heard of this run called the Tough Mudder? Did you know there's one coming to Toronto in April? You're signed up. Oh. What's your name? You've heard about it? Does anybody run the Tough Mudder in here? If you're unfamiliar with this thing, it's a 12 to 14 mile obstacle course. There's a tremendous amount of mud. There's barbed wire. There's a thing they call the Arctic enema, where you jump into the structure filled with ice water and ice. You have to go underneath these partitions, 2 or 3 of them, and you come out the other side of this freezing cold tub. That's within the first 60 seconds. There are monkey bars that go up like this and down like this. They're greased, so they make it a little bit harder to hold on to. If you fall into a muddy lake. There's a thing called the electroshock therapy. I have wires that are charged with up to 10,000 volts of electricity. And they make sure you're wet as you run through this. And they shock you. I'm not kidding. They literally shock you at the 10,000 volts as you run through this thing. And so I saw this online and it seemed like a good idea. But not only that, I registered for this thing. I put about $180 that I didn't really have. And I paid for this thing about 3 months out. I announced it to all my friends. I even said it on social media. I mean, I was committed. Now, what do you think happened to my workouts after I registered for this thing? I've got to tell you, they became much more interesting. They became much more intentional. They became much more fun. They didn't take over my life, but they just got more focused. And this is what can happen when you throw your hat in the ring. And by the way, along the way, I made a whole bunch of other choices. And that's truly what this is all about. It's not about the workout. It's not even about the choice. It's about you reaching your personal and professional potential with the choices that you make. The ripple effect term was the best way I could describe what happened through this 30-day commitment to exercise and what ended up being 79 days in a row. My relationships got better. I got rid of some people that didn't need to be in my life. I made some better health choices. I strengthened some relationships. I met some people, some extraordinary people that I never would have met otherwise, that I now still to this day hang out with and I'm friends with. I met a business partner that helped me stabilize my company. Slowly but surely, this massive ship that was sending in the wrong direction got turned around. And life is very different now because of one simple choice. I want to share with you one of the 7 principles behind the ripple effect, and it's this. All of you have been to other seminars. You've all listened to speakers. You've read books. You ever notice that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work? You ever notice that 2 people can be sitting in a seminar, and one of them, truly, this is what launches the change in their life, and the other one, nothing happens. Have you ever noticed anything like this? I'm going to tell you why this happens. Would you like to know? It's because doing the work is not enough. Doing the work is just a start. Let's unpack that a little bit and then I'll close. Doing the work is engaging in personal and professional activities, things that you're doing right now. You're in a seminar, you're listening to someone talk about life-changing principles. And maybe you take on something as a result of today. Maybe you take on a choice that you believe will impact your life. Stephen Covey calls this sharpening the saw. You read every day, or you pray and meditate every day, or even quality time with your family might be considered doing the work because it supports you in being the person that you know you can be, but maybe aren't quite yet. This is a great start, and you'll make progress from this, but it's simply not enough. In order to get maximum benefit from any choice, you've got to pay attention. You've got to pay attention to the impact of this choice in every area of your life. And this is what I did. Every day I'd get out a journal, and I'd sit down, I'd say, all right, what's different about my life because of this choice? And sometimes my brain would go, nothing. I'm still sore. I'm still angry. I still have no friends. I'm still broke. But I'd put on the brakes. I'd say, there's got to be something. There's got to be something that's different because of this choice. I'd sit there until I found something. Eric just did an exercise on awareness. Well, guess what? What we focus on expands. And when you pay attention to the impact of your life, instead of saying, why is this so hard? And why does my life still not work out the way I want it? Instead of asking those questions, ask a question like, what's different about my life? How have my relationships changed? How have my conversations changed? And that's the power of the ripple effect. Life is very different now. And much of it is because of this one simple choice. And all of it is because of paying attention to the impact. I actually wrote a little song about this. You guys have time for one more song?
Yes. Yep.
This is a song about the Tough Mudder. I actually got to perform this in front of about 9,000 people in Atlanta. That was a ripple I never would have expected. And it's really not a commercial for Tough Mudder. You can do the Tough Mudder, great. But it's more about a commercial for you making one simple choice that could change the course of your life. And for me, it changed the way I related to obstacles. It changed the way I related to stress. It changed the way I related to frustration. And it goes a little something like this. It was a beautiful morning one Saturday as I began to make my way to do this thing they call the Tough Mudder. Well, I trained for it and I could hardly wait, but I guess I did not anticipate this was no ordinary run, my brother. We were going through mud and under barbed wire, jumping over walls and running through fire, swinging like monkeys, all kinds of crazy stuff. By mile 3, I was battered and bruised. I had 5 pounds of mud and rocks in my shoes. I guess that's why they call this mudder tough. But I'm one tough mudder. I get her done. It ain't always pretty. It ain't always fun. I'm one tough mudder. I fight to the end. When life gets muddy, I get tough, my friend. Well, around mile 7, my hip got jacked as I slowed down. I thought about the fact there's a Marine running this thing with a prosthetic limb. So I fought the pain and ran, said a prayer for that man, and all the wounded warriors just like him. 'Cause he's one tough mudder, and he got her done. He fought for our country so we could have fun. He's one tough mudder, he fought to the end. Life got muddy, he got tough, my friend. We've been going 3 hours now, no looking back. Is this mile 12? I'm losing track, but I will finish this tough mudder for sure. So we walked the plank, jumped in a lake. We swam 50 yards across the bank, and there's just one more obstacle to go. Looking ahead, what do I see? The sign says electroshock therapy. We got to get through these wires and get to the end of the run. I'm telling you, man, you sure can move fast with 10,000 volts shocking your ass. We crossed that finish line. We got her done. It was one tough mudder, but we got her done. It wasn't too pretty. Man, was it fun. It was one tough mudder. We fought to the end. Life got muddy, we got tough, my friend. See, life can be tough with its twists and turns. You just keep fighting. Through the bruises and burns, you gotta fall forward and get back up again. one tough month, and you get it done. It ain't always pretty, hey, it ain't always fun. But you're one tough mother, you fight till the end. When life gets tough, get money, my friend. Thank you. I want to challenge you all today to make one simple choice that can change the course of your life. When that little voice pops up that says it's inconvenient, or it's not the right time, or I got to wait till everything's perfect, I want to challenge you with those three little words. You remember what they are? Do it anyway. Make one simple choice that can change the course of your life. We launched a program called 40 Days of Focus. In 20 years, I've never been a part of a more powerful personal development program. It dumbs it down to one simple choice that you make over the course of 40 consecutive days. We've done a couple of firsts for you here in Toronto. This is one of our participants. She was the number 18 fittest CrossFit champion in the world. She's actually from Canada. Any of you know, have heard of anybody involved in CrossFit in here? This may be a familiar face to you. She was number 18 in the world in 2012. She took on a simple choice called flexibility, stretching 20 minutes per day. You can see the actual impact it turned out was a stretch in her mental and emotional ability to be more flexible as well. What one simple choice will you make in 2014 as a result of today? This is what you can expect out of the program if you plug into this. It's a very simple concept. And by the way, you're going to hear some great stuff after I leave today. You're going to hear a lot of great speakers. Whatever you're taking on as a result of today, this is where the rubber hits the road. You take on one simple choice and all of your life will be impacted by this choice. That's the promise of the program. Number one, you can expect more clarity in your choices and a more definite sense of purpose. Number two, a breakthrough in your personal integrity and how that affects every area of your life. Number three, a deeper understanding of how to create the life that you want. This includes your ability to influence other people in the form of new sales, new relationships, nurturing existing relationships. Everything comes down to your choices and the impact on you and how this affects others. And that's why I promise this fourth thing, a ripple effect producing breakthroughs in every significant area of your life. Now, do those sound like pretty powerful promises? They sound like promises worth playing for. And this is what I'll promise you if you do the program. The process is very simple. You get a daily email from me, video of the day. It's usually less than 2 minutes for the ADD generation. I mean, it's quick, it's short, it's painless, it's pretty. Private Facebook community for support, encouragement. Unlimited support from me and other leaders in the program. There are actually 5 live webinars. There's a kickoff webinar that is April 1st. We're launching a program just for you. Just exclusive Toronto program. I've never done this. We've done this program 3 times, but it's always been whoever plugs in. You all are getting an exclusive program that starts just for you April 1st. Are you with me on this? So day 1 would be April 2nd. We kick it off April 1st with a 90-minute webinar. April 2nd is day 1. You choose one thing for 40 consecutive days. You might choose to take on something like exercise, or reading, or listening to audio cassettes, or listen. Tell how old I am, right? Audio cassettes. Some of you are like, what's an audio cassette? MP3s? You might take on prayer and meditation, just a little 10 minutes of quiet time. We'll walk you through this choice. You might take off something. You might say, I'm going to eliminate caffeine for 40 days, or I'm going to eliminate sugar for 40 days. You might take something off your plate. If you're saying, I have no time to do this, we'll take something off your plate. Minimize some time that you have in a certain area. So you take it, that's your job. My job is to get you to focus on the impact of this one simple choice in every area of your life. So we've created a special opportunity for you guys. I've known Eric a long time. Eric, this is your better self here.
He looks awesome.
Yeah. This is Eric and I believe this is in San Diego some time ago. And because of Eric and our relationship through the years, I wasn't sure how the numbers would work out from doing this in the States and doing it in other countries. It's the first time we've done it in any other country besides the United States, and that excites me, so we're going to give you 20% off. These are US dollars. The investment is $290, so that's about $50